All right, in this video, we will learn a specific margin property, basically a specific value of margin, which is the auto. Okay, so let's get started. So what is that basically? So in the documentation as well, you can see here is the auto and there are a bunch of times we have the margin auto setup. What is that? So basically, whenever we are setting auto, that means like, hey, browser, take control over the margin and set up as it is. Okay, so auto, the browser selects the suitable margin to use. For example, in certain cases, this value can be used to center an element, which we will do. Okay, so basically what I can do, I can go to the code once again, get rid of everything. Okay, not the body one. I want the font. Get rid of this, and so on. Get rid of everything here and h1 like margin auto. And what I'll do, I'll create a div, and inside of that div I'll create a paragraph, and let's do lorem, and yeah, hit save. Okay, now I will select this div. Okay, so let's do a class of what do I do, like container or paragraph container. Okay, and here we have the class of paragraph. All right, now let's go ahead here. Let's do of paragraph container and set a width of something like 600 pixel and height of 600 pixel as well. Okay, border of 2 pixel solid, and let's do blue violet once again. Okay, and we have the paragraph as well, so dot paragraph. And here what I can do, I can do something like, hey, height of 100 pixel, and I'm not sure about the width. Not do Let's not do the height, just do the width. So width of something like 200 pixel. Okay, let's save, and here it is. Okay, we forget to add the border, so let's add a border. Okay, and do something like, I will go with here salmon. Okay, okay, here it is. Here is our paragraph. Now what I want, basically I want to center this paragraph inside of this box regardless of the height and the width. And once again, we are not centering vertically, we are centering horizontally only. Okay, so how we can do that? You might be thinking, okay, let's do a text align to center. Okay, we can do that, but it centers the text only. Okay, it centers the text, not the whole element. So what we can do, we can add the margin to there. So margin of, let's say, for top and bottom 10 pixel, and for left and right we can set something like, we can calculate that, right? So if this is the width of 200 pixel and the width of the container is 600 pixel, we can say like, hey, let's do 200 pixel. Okay, so now it is apparently centered. Okay, but here is the catch. If I just set something like 800 pixel to the width of the container, then what will happen? It is not centered anymore. So what we have to do to make it dynamic? Okay, so what we can do, we can set here the margin to like top and bottom, we can set anything, but for left and right we can set auto. If we do that, then it is centered. And it is basically saying like, hey, the left and the right margin should be same. That is basically all. And select the free space which is available to this element. Okay, that is why it is inside of this, like inside of this box, it is centered horizontally. Okay, now if I just do something like the same thing, 800 pixel, now the margin will automatically change in the left and the right of this paragraph element, and this thing, this paragraph element will be centered no matter what is the width of the element, like the container element. Okay, so this is basically it. This is the margin auto. So whenever we want to, like, this is very, very handy whenever we want to center the things horizontally. But once again, you might be thinking like, hey, can I do something like auto? Okay, if I do something like that, nothing happens. Okay, so like aligning the things vertically, we have to use something like flexbox or grid, so that it is pretty much simple. So with the help of margins, we cannot align center like the things vertically. Okay, but horizontally, yes. So I can do something like 20 pixel, and once again, now our content is centered. Okay, so this is the margin auto property.